I'm standing back here, um, just in back of our church facility, our church property, overlooking a house that's currently being built. And I've been observing this house for some time now. I saw when the lot was still not cleared. I saw as they began to clear the lot. I saw as they started to make preparations for the foundation and then began to frame. And now, as you see it, the construction continues. But it reminded me of a scripture. It's found in 1 Peter chapter 2. I'd like to read it with you if you would follow me. I'm reading out of the New Living Translation today because I liked the simplicity of the wording that is used. But 1 Peter chapter 2, beginning with verse 1, says, "So get rid of all evil behavior. Be done with all deceit, hypocrisy, jealousy, and all unkind speech. Like newborn babies, you must crave pure spiritual milk so that you will grow into a full experience of salvation. Cry out for this nourishment now that you have had a taste of the Lord's kindness." The apostle is saying we should crave these things. We should cry out for the nourishment that comes only from God's presence and from God's Spirit. And the apostle even admonishes us to get rid of certain things, to remove certain things from our lives. But verse 4 continues. It says, "You are coming to Christ, who is the living cornerstone of God's temple. He was rejected by people, but he was chosen by God for great honor." Verse 5 says, "And you are living stones that God is building into his spiritual temple." Verse 4 says that we are coming to Christ, and he is the cornerstone of everything that God has done. He is the cornerstone. He is the most important aspect of our lives. Without Christ himself, there is no salvation. But then the apostle goes on to say that we too are living stones that God is building into his spiritual temple. You know what that tells me? That means that I'm under construction. In the same way that this house back here is under construction, and there's workers that have had to clear the land, and there's workers that had to go in and uproot trees and take out things so that the land could be prepared for the house to be built. And then there was others that came in to begin to form the foundation, and then they laid the foundation, and then they had to frame. And you see, whoever's gonna be lucky enough to live in this house, they are not gonna do it overnight. It wasn't an overnight process, but there was a long period of time where the process of building had to take place. And it's the same thing with our lives. We are in a process where God is building us so that we can become everything that he desires for us to be. You see, this time of prayer and of fasting, it's time for us to just dedicate ourselves to get with God and to say, "God, the work that you need to do in my life, if there's things that need to be uprooted, if there's land that needs to be cleared in my heart and in my life, Lord, then do it. God, if there's a foundation that as of right now I don't have and I'm lacking, and you need to lay a foundation, or you need to form a foundation in my heart and in my life, then God, do it. God, if there's more building that needs to take place, if you need to build my character, if you need to build my personality, God, if you need to build my prayer life because I haven't had a prayer life, then God, I understand that I am a living stone and I am being built up so that I may be a spiritual temple." The same thing that is happening back here, what you see, is the same thing that is happening in our lives. And I want to encourage you today, as you pray, as you continue in your fast, understand that we are in a process where God is building us and God is shaping us and God is forming us. And sometimes that may not be comfortable. Sometimes it doesn't feel good because it's getting us out of our comfort zones, and God has to bend us and shape us and form us. Sometimes God has to use 2x4s and hammers and nails, and those things sometimes aren't very comfortable. But God does it because he loves us, and he's got this master plan in mind. He has a design in mind. He is the master architect and he's the master builder. He's that chief cornerstone, and he's doing his work in my life. And I want to encourage you today, make this a matter of prayer. God, whatever you need to do to make me more like you, whatever you need to do in my heart and in my life to make me who you want me to be, God, do it. This is what your prayer and your fasting is all about. Allowing God to have his way in our lives. Be encouraged today. continue in your fast, be faithful, and know that God is building you into a marvelous spiritual temple. God bless.